Hello, everyone. This is Jonathan Salvador. My job is to discuss how different the intent for each of the approaches used in qualitative research, that being narrative, grounded theory, phenomenological, ethnographic, and case study. So let's just go through it. I'm going to use my research topic as the basis for this. My research topic is to determine whether the inclusion model works best for a science level class, particularly chemistry. That's my content level content that I teach. So let's go with narrative. Well, narrative, as we know, is a storytelling data collection way of doing things. And basically, it's you follow a person over time, and we've discussed this earlier, so I'm not going to get into it. But basically, what it does is when you follow somebody and listen to their stories about their experiences on a certain phenomenon, then you can get data from it to determine whether that process works or not. So let's say I wanted to discuss whether my the inclusion model works best for me. Works best is just asking them how did they feel in class? Did the class go slowly? Did the pace was okay? Did I was it too fast? That kind of thing. And from his stories, you can determine whether your process was good or bad. Um, the next thing is phenomenological, and that's basically you're trying to understand the essence of an experience. So here you're interviewing a whole bunch of people that experienced the same thing, and you're looking for commonalities. You're looking for shared um, uh, experiences, things that are alike. And so your intent here is to determine whether you have to determine a composite explanation for the experience. So, for instance, let's say we wanted to discuss whether my lesson plan on stoichiometry was good for both the SPED children and as well as the regular children. And you can just basically ask them, how did you feel? Was it did the pace go okay, that kind of thing. And you see it if all the students felt the same way about it. And if not, then you can see whether it's an instructional issue or rather it could be just the students not understanding it and maybe they're not at the level that they should be to understand that topic. So that gives you an idea of how that is. The next approach is basically grounded theory. And here you're trying to develop a theory, an explanation of why that process happened. And you're looking at one particular experience, one particular um, process that you're trying to study. So basically, you're asking the kids, you're interviewing and you're trying to discern whether this process or this program that you might be like ELL or SPED works or not. So that's the kind of thing you're looking for. Does the 504 program work? And so you're asking, interviewing these subjects and trying to determine that, trying to determine whether the way you're doing it works. Maybe you have to go another way. Last thing is ethnographic, or one second is ethnographic, and this is when you have to study a particular shared cultured group, and this might be difficult because the subjects might be in different locations, but they share a, a, a culture that they share a way of doing things, and so by interviewing all these people in different locations and with different stimuluses affecting them, and you can see a pattern that might arise. So you can see whether, for instance, for my topic, um, do the SPED children feel like they don't have to try so hard because they might get passed through because of whatever regulations or passing rates or whatever it is. But by studying that, you can determine whether a change needs to happen. And then the last thing is case study, and this is where you're developing, you're studying an event that a whole lot of people are experiencing, and you're trying to study a process or a case, or in this case. And so, for instance, it would be a great way to study whether the way you does does in school detention work better than suspension. We've had incidences where some kids think in school detention is fun, and so they'd rather go there than go to class, and so they'll do whatever they can to go there. So there's a lot of ways to do things, but that's the differences. The intent's different, but based on what you want to ask.